Hello. I'd love to say hello, everyone, but I only just had somebody join me, so it's a bit of a quiet one in terms of people joining live, but that's fine. I've got things to say, I've got things to do, so we're going to dive in. So, what I wanted to talk about and probably get round to is drawing when you're traveling, and painting when you're traveling. I've done it lots and lots, but the thing is, I think um, hi Meredith, hi Salson. I think the thing is when you're traveling, you can't carry loads. So I have been taking with me my sketchbook and this. Okay. And so I wanted to show you what's in it because there's a few things that I think people might want to find the equivalent of. So I've got my folding. This is fancy. Okay, so this is my travel paintbrush set. Before I was taking this, I was just taking the longer pen paintbrushes and wrapping them in bubble wrap. But since I got this, it all fits in here. So it's got different sizes. I think one of the sizes might never get used because it's huge. It's a size, where's the number? Size 10. So I don't think I'll use that, but I've used the 8 and the 6 and mostly the 4. Okay. Hi Sosan. Hello, hello. Hi Meredith. So happy to be here. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted. I'm glad. I'm glad. It was really quiet. I was thinking whether anything's going to happen. Okay, so with that, the thing that I'm so pleased about is that I found a tin. Well, I found a tin. It was a bristle and brush tin that Esra Al Hamal had some paints in. So I just put in my paints. Now the thing is, there's the gold missing. This is the thing. When you travel and when you come back, you don't keep everything intact necessarily. I'm sorry. But yeah, these are colors that I like and I use. So we've got some teal, some turquoise, some green, some blue, some purple, some magenta, and a red and orange and kind of another red, a pinker red and an orange red. And then I've got what is this? Sepia. But normally here there's some sort of metallic. And actually I think I can get two metallics. So that's good. I also think it was really useful having this bit to mix the paints in because it's sort of as attached. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's not attached. I'll show you. Okay. Now, the thing is, everything's got to be a bit shrunk and invaluable in the old pencil case. So I only have a short ruler, but I do like short rulers. You can't see that. Let's do it like that. Let's leave it like that. And an inexpensive, not too valuable compass because the compass that I have been using, I don't know where I put it. So since I got home, I seem to have just put stuff anywhere. And the thing is, I do think I would be really pained to travel with things that are very precious, very, very precious. So this is kind of precious because it's expensive, but my compasses, I've got some really nice ones. I think it's just fine to have something like that. Okay. Along with the paintbrushes, I have to have a pipette. This makes it easy to control the water. And only recently I put this back in the old pencil case. It's a brush rest. I don't actually need it for this set, but you know when you're filming and stuff, like I do, it's good to stage it all. So this is one of the nicest things. Let's put this here. In terms of using uh this to hold my phone to film. Okay, Selson. Also, I hear you can't carry compasses in the carry-on, so it would be a shame to lose a good one at the airport if you only have carry-on. I've heard that too. I think some people are far more experienced in bringing a compass on their carry-on. I've always put my compass, if it's precious, into my stowed luggage. Is that the right word? Not the carry-on, the other baggage. Yeah, because you don't know. Okay, so have a look at this. Checked in luggage, thank you. Um, okay, so this, it kind of opens up in a zigzag way, like so. Okay, the bottom part is the stand. Okay, and it opens up like so. So you can see it like that. And then this shimmies up and it's very heavy. And then this rotates, and then all of a sudden you've got a compass stand. Not compass stand, everything's about the compass. You've got a phone stand. So this you can open up and put in. I didn't know how to show you, like, put this on some way. So I made a little, haven't used, and don't probably advocate, but I had a Amazon storefront. So I made these objects, a little list in there in case you want to get them. So then this is how it stands, and you can really get on top of the work. If I just switch on the camera for a second, you can see, let's see, you can see how good it is at just filming things. So you can just move it around. You can move it forward a little. If I have to move it too forward and too close, I just put something here and it'll be fine. So these things, sometimes the weight of your phone and the angle that you're putting it on might not be right, but you can just use a counterweight and it'll be fine. So that's the magic. Okay, let me put this aside and also show you how good it is to pack away. So it's quite heavy. So of all the things I've got, this is one of the heaviest, but it's very, very useful for me. And I'm always having to make videos, and I'm more in the mood to do it when I'm traveling. Um, Actually, just the mood of it, I don't know when it suits me. Okay, now I always have to have a putty eraser. I put it in this shell so that it wouldn't stick to stuff. So it's just a shell, and I'll just put the putty eraser in, and sometimes I wrap it in paper, but it's not been too sticky. And then some washi tape, and this is now the nitty gritty bit because these are kind of things I've dropped in, but who knows? Okay. So this is something that Sarah Ickesley Asonmes gave me, but I haven't used it, but it is traveling, so I should have a go at using it. But that goes in a very nice section in between. So it's yet another ruler potentially, although it feels dishonest because I haven't used it. Another triangle ruler because you can never have too many rulers. A sharpener, just a regular sharpener, and then my eraser. Now I tend to write in fountain pens when I do my Arabic homework. So therefore these are always at the bottom of my pencil case, and these are the covers for this. So we'll just put that back. And then the pencils and the pens. These are forever changing. So I have a mechanical pencil, 0.7. I have another mechanical pencil, 0.9. There's pigeons on the roof. And another mechanical pencil, 0.3. And then I have a hard pencil and two soft pencils. So the sharpener is good for those. And then a silver pen, a gold pen, a copper pen, although they call it bronze, and then a black pen. It's a permanent one. Okay. Amazing. Do you cut the eraser to get a sharp edge? Yeah, yeah. All my erasers are wedged because they're normally rectangular, so I cut them in half, and then they're just easier to kind of work with. So that's the kit. That took all of 11 minutes. So it's time to draw. So I wanted to use my kit, except the only thing is, what was going to say? The only thing is with using the kit, I don't know whether you'll be able to see all the lines clearly. So we'll see. And if I need to change to a darker pencil or pen and a different compass, then we'll do that. But yeah, let's put everything back in the old case. And hopefully, what I'd say is when I packed this the first time, there was something missing and like it wasn't complete. Then when I packed it another time, I refined it. When I packed it the third time, I refined it, and so on. So it's really useful to just kind of get this idea that, like you've got your kit, and then make it as perfect for yourself as you can. Okay, I'm going to draw something in here. Let's see. Oh, so this is almost now slightly iconic. Yeah, I showed this last time, but This is my little experimentation with gouache. But I'd like to draw something from my YouTube videos. And as I was looking at it, I was like, have I done this before? Where have I done this? So let's see if it's the right one. I can't remember if so it's agra-fold and it's an eightfold, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently. I want to tile it and draw it. So we're going to do one of them in four, if that makes sense. Um, I love this advert just randomly popping up. Oh, it's this one. I actually wanted to do this one, this one. I'm glad I had a quick look. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that I can make sure I can see it. And then I'm doing number 21. But before we do that, I want to also set up the grid of four. Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's see if you can see what I use from my kit. Okay, let's see if it actually is worth it. So this is the one that I'm going to be drawing. I think I'm going to pause it here, but what I'd like to do is firstly just write down which one I'm doing. So I'm doing number 21, Agra Fort, Mughal, India. Okay, let's see how we go. So I want to do four of them. So whatever that tutorial is, I'm going to do four of them. So the first thing I'd like to do is divide my page up so that I can get it centered. Now this is the only thing with short rulers. You have to kind of use it in kind of a slidey way. So my paper is 20 centimeters tall. And so I'm putting some markings in just to get the middle point. And I'm going to draw the whole way across. I'll probably concentrate on this side. And so 15 across, half of that is much. So the other thing I tend to do is put hard leads into my compass. So if you can't see this in a second, we might have to change plans. And also, how big can this go? Oh, that is the limit. And yeah, I think I'm going to go bigger. So the other thing with having a travel compass is that everything's a bit smaller. And the recent things I've been doing, I've had, oh, can I fix the zoom? Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, of course. And let me get a bit closer. I just wanted to check the size, and then I was like, oh, I need to zoom in. Okay, so we're going to go bigger. And that means I can use a pencil. And let's see if we can get closer. Wow. I was really making you I was really making you work there. There we go. Let's switch that off. So now that we've got it all laid out, I'm going to use the thicker of the pencils just so you can see what I'm doing. And let's see how we go. Oh, more people have joined. Hello. It was really funny. Like when I was sitting here, I was like, is it just me today? And I was like properly ready to just go for whatever version of it I was going to do. Okay. So I've done my this point, but I actually think I could make my space bigger. So what I'm going to do is actually measure from here. So measure from the edge where I'd like my shape to finish and check how far down I need to go and then make a mark there. So now let's tighten everything up. Yeah. So that will be my center. So wherever that 15 was, I'm ignoring it. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my big circle. And I probably have to erase some of that in a second. And what I want to do is basically draw a square and then divide it into four. Maria Claudia, and for those who wake up early, yes, I think it's useful. Okay, so now we need to do our perpendicular bisector, but the thing is I haven't got space above or below. So what I'm going to do is open up my compass to this much, okay? let's see, that much. All I'm trying to do is try to get a mark inside my circle, vertically above and below, like so. And then put in my vertical. Wait, I think I'm going to use my other pencil. Luckily, I have a few here. Okay, there we go. Now we can reduce this and make sure it's the same size as the original circle, and then put it on the north and take it to the left and to the right. Okay, so this is kind of my square. Already this Mughal India bit is annoying me because it's in the way of my drawing, so I'm just going to erase it. I've got a very wobbly table. It's temporary. I need to get a new table. And my poor old ruler isn't long enough. So, just going to grab a normal size one. The practicalities of doing this and showing you is kind of making some of my travel stuff a little bit annoying. And actually, you know what's so funny? When I went and took it on the first holiday, I did everything very small and I had my fountain pens with me. So I even drew in fountain pens. I'll show you that sketchbook because everything was a little bit smaller. I'm sure I normally can put in a 30 centimeter ruler somewhere in my kit. Okay, so we now have 4. Okay, these lines aren't so useful or necessary, so I'm going to just lighten them a little bit because I want us to think of this grid as a grid of 4 squares. So this pattern that we're going to draw, let me just see if I can show you it somehow. This pattern that we're going to draw, it's basically fourfold. There we go. I'm just going to brighten it as well. Oh, it's as bright as can be. Or is it as bright as can be? A little bit brighter. Come on. So yeah, this is the pattern that we're going to eventually draw. So therefore, I'm going to need to set out my grid to have within them 8 divisions. So there'll be an octagon in each one. So firstly, you can put in your diagonals. And as soon as you put in both diagonals, you've established the center of your circle. I'm going to check whether I need it in the video. I think I do. So I'm just going to do the diagonals and now the horizontals. And then the verticals. So it's really, really easy to go from 1 square to 4 squares. And actually, if I wanted to go further, 16 squares. Okay, so now I probably can use this compass, but let me just see if the line's barely visible. I am now going to draw this tutorial 4 times. So I need for this one a square. I normally start with a circle, but I started without the circle, but I've got the divisions. So what I'm going to do now is now put in the circles because there is something needed for them. Yeah, actually, basically for this pattern, if we just go back a few steps, we will need the octagon. Okay, so that octagon comes from those petals sitting. So can you see these petals sitting inside the circle? So wait for me. How are we going to do this? So we want to do the divisions in between. We could do a different way, actually. A nice way to do it. So although we're doing this tutorial, as soon as we're drawing it this way, it's like, do we have to draw all of that to get our halfway divisions? So what we could do is do some angle bisectors, which we could do with a little compass. And angle bisectors are very, very, very good because what they allow you to do is divide something in half. So we will put in the circles actually, because I realized that's a useful thing to have. And also it gives me a sense of how accurate my drawing is. So let's get these in and I can see already. Let's see. So that's our first circle. That's our second. Look at me not even measuring and checking. I will check now. Sometimes I forget that I'm showing you, and I don't mind if it's a little bit rough and ready. Okay. It keeps going on to the next video. It's really doing my head in. We don't want number 11. Okay, well, it's like the pause button doesn't believe me that it wants to pause. Okay. So what I was saying about doing the 8 division, I'm going back to the one that I want. There we go. You pause there, young lady. I'm assuming. So what I'm talking about here is rather than draw all of the in-between lines that I had on that one, we're going to divide these from 8 into 16 a little bit differently. Okay. And the way that we're going to do it is we take 2 points, so these points, and I'm going to use my little compass, and you basically create. See this distance. Let me open up fully so you can see. See this distance. You want to open up your compass to more than half. So visualize half of what I've just opened up to. You want more than half. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a mark, and then you're going to make a mark. And what you want is these two to cross each other. So can you see that tiny little cross? If I now line that up with the center, I've basically taken my angle and cut it in half. I've just spotted that's a really useful intersection as well. So these intersections here are actually quite useful. So you can do lots of those, but once it's hitting that horizontal line, you can then line it up over here and take it there. And it's actually, is that working? It shouldn't work. Like so. So, Meredith, are you watching your own video as on YouTube with ads? It seems so. I don't know how to watch them without the ads, because every time you watch your own YouTube videos, it just automatically has ads. Okay, so we're going to do the same here. So this point and this point. So I'm trying to save myself work, but actually, turns out I'm giving myself work. It's really weird how that is turning out to be the intersection I keep hitting. But that is, maybe it is the right thing. It's just, can I just say my video channels are just going as it wishes. So yeah, let's just check that. That is, hold on. So when you want to divide your circle into 24, that can't be right. I'm just going to do my method because I don't trust the thing that I've just been showing you as a truth yet. Okay, so you're just doing, it's happening again. I think they're very close to the action. I'm going to have to do some quick maths. So you're just using either side to get this intersection. And then once you've got that intersection, taking it across the whole drawing. Now, as soon as it hits the edges, you can use it then to go to the center of the adjacent circle to get the rest of the divisions. And there we go. But then you're still stuck. So you still need to do some more of these angle bisectors. So I'm just going to do a few more. I'm going to do it on both sides so it saves me a bit of legwork. And take it up to the center. Take it up to the center. Oh, it's hitting that line again. I feel like I need to get GeoGebra out. Hey, wait, you paid for those ads. This is brilliant. No, you know what? If you have ads on YouTube, it doesn't register your own usage of them. Like, so you can't just sit there with your YouTube video. And I don't pay for the ads, right? So basically, I get paid for showing ads on my channel. And that only works if other people are watching my videos, not me. If I do it, then I don't get anything. It doesn't count. It's so I had a thing about YouTube with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, it's really hard to get to paid uh, and earn revenue on YouTube." And I was like, "Oh, I'm already there. I just don't do much with it." Okay, ta-da! Bother. So we have to watch your YouTube to pay you. No, it's not enough. Don't worry about it. Honestly, there's things that people talk a lot about online. So one of them is watching a certain percentage of your videos, right? And then the ads coming up. The other thing is affiliate links. Honestly, you get so little from them. You get much more from real tangible things such as workshops, such as selling products, such as just the random jobs that come up. So I'm not going to invest any effort in those things. And let's see if I can find my own video now. Oh, I don't know how many, like, what is it? It's just going back to how many videos. Do you want to see how many videos it's gone through? I think I'm not even doing 21. Oh, it is. This is the one. This is the one that I actually want. And yeah, somehow this is the one. So I've got to get all the way to the beginning. I thought, in theory, having my YouTube on my tablet next to my drawing was so useful. It really isn't. So really annoying. But yeah, let's catch up to where we are. So, oh wait, let me read Sosan's comment. So also I hear that you need to pay YouTube for ads early on before you start making real money. I've never paid to YouTube. They've only paid me. And you need to have a certain thing. So for example, you need to have a certain number of subscribers and certain number of views or hours of views. Then you start earning money. And the first time I earned money, it was like 3p. It was tiny. And I would say I think I've earned maybe a few thousand. Shall we have a look? Because you like as opposed to Instagram, imagine all the videos and content I might put on Instagram. Do I get paid? No. Okay, so in August I've earned 16 £16. But I'm going to not kind of show you everything, because I don't think I'm allowed to. But if I go to my analytics, since I've had my YouTube channel, um, and just think, like I was doing this with when I was doing maths tutoring, because it's good to kind of understand the ratio of it, like how many pence you get per view. So yeah, so let's see. If I go to Oh, and the funniest thing is which videos are popular. This is a bit of a side chat, isn't it? But I love talking about this sort of stuff. I think it's all a bit mysterious. And it's so funny. There's so many almost like rumors about it on social media. And then I have earned £2,444 from my what is this? YouTube channel since I started it in 2016. Now, if you look at some of my views, like these videos, oh, I don't know if I should be showing you this anyway. Um, like the videos you make, you need to have tens of thousands of views. So it's something like 10,000 views is £1. Does that make sense? No way, but you make so many videos. So my videos on YouTube, the ones that you see, are not listed. Does that make sense? So all of the videos that I'm on YouTube, they're unlisted because I'm making my income from Patreon. Does that make sense? So if you go to my channel, it's just there. And the only thing I'm regularly uploading as a public thing to the channel is these videos that we're talking and doing now. God, and now I'm talking about it, it's a bit confusing. So yeah, I'm loving that you've asked these questions, because there's a lot of, I guess, assumptions about how these things work. Like, for example, people will say to me, can I just say I've got to make a square now? And I've got to put in 8 divisions. But if you notice, I've already got those 8 divisions. So I don't need to do that. Let's see. So the first thing is making this octagon to make the pattern line. So I've already got that. And then there's these lines I need to do to put in this. So let's do a bit at a time. So I know from having drawn this loads of times historically that this orange line is the pattern line. So I'm going to just do it in orange. Okay, sorry, Sosan, I got back on track. Yeah, but there's a lot of misconceptions. Like, for example, you know, I have never really earned any money from Instagram, right? And what's so funny is depending on which country you're in, you can earn money from Instagram. And Meta has lots of things under its umbrella. I've earned money from Facebook. Imagine. So the videos that I'm posting on Instagram, usually they post to Facebook, right? And then what happens is somehow in the UK, you're allowed to earn money from Facebook, which is Meta, not Instagram, which is Meta. Riddle me that. Riddle me that. Okay, I'm going to use my little ruler. Where are you, little ruler? Okay, I'll find this little ruler. So I've earned maybe 20, 30 pounds. I should look that up as well. Like had the tiniest payouts. Is that right? Yeah, this is right. So we're making octagons. But from Instagram, not earned one penny at all. But Instagram is your showcase, right? And you need to have millions of views to earn anything decent. So therefore, having these platforms where you can reach a whole bunch of people who might want to work with you, who might want to go to one of your workshops, who might want to join your Patreon, it's your shop window. So it is very useful. Of course, it's annoying, but oh well, we have to get on with that. Selson, that is unbelievable. I don't know which bit is unbelievable now. We've said so many things, but yeah, I think a lot of it is really amazing that people think a certain way. So if I lived in the USA, the videos I had that were hitting good, decent numbers, the reels, I probably could earn money from those, but I'm not there. All this content that you make on Insta and not a penny only from Facebook. Yes, it is unbelievable. And it's just like a technicality because imagine. But yeah, the whole premise of Instagram was never that you'd get paid from it. It's only when TikTok started paying their content creators that Instagram got in on this sort of concept. So prior to TikTok, nobody really got paid for their posts because there was no advertising, right? Okay, we're going to make this triangle and then we're going to make this circle and then we're going to make another circle. So the idea is that this pattern that we're drawing, oh, we're going to draw the lines first. We need to draw those. This pattern that we're drawing has some equal shapes in it. So we're going to put in these lines, which are vertical, horizontal, and then diagonal. And because we're drawing 4 of them, it's actually okay to do so many together. Let's see. Meredith, I can guess why it sounds believable because we have to watch so many ads when we're on YouTube or Instagram. So who makes the money? Sadly, not you and the content creators. Yeah. YouTube, people who really on YouTube a lot, they do tend to complain about the cut they get. And I don't know quite enough about the problems of YouTube because they're the only ones who pay me. So I mean, depending on your mood, you have an issue with any given platform. Sometimes you're tolerant, sometimes you're intolerant. It's not a fair system at all. But I think for me, I appreciate that YouTube does kind of pay. And I don't really invest a lot of time and energy on there. Maybe I should. But this is the thing. Where is the community that I tend to interact with? It's on pesky Instagram, isn't it? Yeah, and then on Instagram, there's so much content, so many people. I'm going to say yapping. That's a young person word. Yapping about how they made this, how they did that, how easy is this. And some of it, there's so many prerequisites to getting there. So one thing you can do is you can have people pay you for your posts. So for example, if I was a lifestyle creator, whatever that is, I could somehow, um, okay, let me just talk about this next step. So see this inner height, you can see it potentially 8 times all over your drawing. And what we're trying to do is replicate that kite. Let's point at it here. Let's zoom in a bit more so you can see. Let's get the focus right. Okay, so this inner kite that I've created so many times, 8 times in each octagon, the inner point to there, I want to replicate it here and then create a circle. Okay, so I'm going to put it on this corner, open up to there, and actually, just to save myself a little bit of bother, I'm just going to make, that doesn't make sense. What have I done? Oh, I need to draw these lines again. Because I've drawn it so big, I got confused. So I need to draw these yellow lines. So what I've just drawn, I've got to do again. So if you think about this situation, I've got vertical, horizontal, diagonal, diagonal. I need to do it again, but using these inner points. So a lot more lines. So I'm using these inner points and I'm trying to keep everything parallel. Yeah, so yeah, it is like a sponsorship. So somebody might say, I will pay you this amount of money for doing a reel about such and such thing. Now, in the art world, the I found that they just prefer to send you stuff, and I then don't really want all that stuff. It's especially if it's not stuff I like. So yeah, what I've done is I've had I'm sure I've worked with Statler and I made a video for them, but they didn't send me money. They sent me lots of compasses and equipment, sorry, leads and stuff. I told them what I use and they sent me stuff like that. And the same with the giveaway I did in May. That was all stuff sent by a company. But it's got to be stuff you use. Otherwise, what's the point of having all that clutter? So I don't like the world of, is it overconsumption where we have too much stuff? Okay. So therefore, it's nice I prefer not to be too much into getting free stuff. I don't really value it. Oh, that's such a bad line. Can you see that line? It's so dodgy. So yeah, the free stuff, I think on the surface it might seem like a good thing, but then imagine all that stuff in your house. I have a friend whose sister-in-law is a lifestyle sort of mother with children, and she is somehow always cleaning. So the amount of stuff she gets sent for cleaning, and then she makes a video about that, and then also household stuff. But again, it doesn't really interest me. I don't want to accumulate stuff and then spend all my day making it look pretty and then make a video. Like I want to make a video about stuff I enjoy. So that's the thing. Okay, let me go back to this. Is this even a tutorial when I'm yapping so much about all these other things? So this is the shape that we need to find. I might just shade it in because I think I've been a little bit. So this triangle, sorry, this height, the bottom of my page, you will see this at different sizes all across because I've drawn it so scruffily. But in the end, it doesn't matter. So this distance from the tip of the kite to the top of the kite, I'm making a mark here. And then this circle is the circle that is going to contain an octagon. So I'm going to draw this size octagon. So basically, I've taken that distance and put it here, but I'm going to draw one big circle because this circle is also going to be the corners of an octagon. So it's quite nice. How are we doing for time? Oh, 20 minutes. Let's see. Okay, so if I just show you, oh my God, I've switched off. This is not. Okay, so, oh my gosh, now what? This is so incompetent. Okay, I'm going to draw it because I know what to do. So I'll draw it in black and you'll be able to see. So where basically this octagon hits the diagonals is where I'm going to draw the top of it. Can you see? So this to this, draw it. And actually what might be useful is if you can just see where my octagon's sides are going to go. Because there's so many lines, it's got to be the lines that are the 8 divisions. So there you can see it there. And let's do them here. I should do like I guess the whole thing about how I earn a living is quite interesting, but um, like I mentioned it most on Patreon that changed a lot of how I work because it's the regularity of income that is the difficulty. So when you have a paid job, you get a certain amount every month. Whereas when you're working freelance, you might have busy periods, you might have quiet periods. You actually don't know what is around the corner. There's not like the regular gig part of it is perhaps inconsistent. So when you have something like Patreon, which I think I've incorporated quite efficiently. Um, so before I used to just do workshops in person, and I did do a few courses, but it wasn't the main thing for me. Okay, so I'm just marking the 8 points that are going to give you the corners of this octagon. It's really wild. They seem really spaced out. Samira, I'm lost. Can you show me how? Yes, yeah, yeah. Let me mark these points, and I will show you how I got that point. Because let's test if it's actually accurate on this drawing. Okay. And if you have got the YouTube to hand, um, it might be worth it to kind of open up as well. I'm not having so much luck, but I'm going to show you here. So see this kite? There's 8 of them. And what we want to do is take this distance from the tip to the top and put that mark here. So reflect that point here. So the way we did that is using this teeny tiny circle. I didn't realize how loud the birds were until. And so this distance, I made a mark here. And then that distance is what I drew the circle for. So use that distance to make a mark further down the diagonal that's coming from the center, and then draw a circle. Does that make sense? Let me know because I can show you on the video as well. Although that's going to be lots of incompetence if I show you on the video. Okay, so as I'm working with a soft pencil so that you can see everything, there's a lot of marks on here. So in a second, I am going to use my putty eraser to clean it up. Let's see if we can get all the pattern lines drawn. So yeah, when I used to do my workshops, just my workshops, I did maybe 3 or 4 a month. And that made up the majority of my income because then besides that, it was stuff like teeny tiny bit from YouTube, a teeny tiny bit from what do you call it? YouTube, tiny bit. My Udemy course, tiny bit. So not a lot, right? So my majority of income came from the workshops and then anything I got ad hoc, like once in a blue moon selling some artwork, doing workshops with museums or something online. So when lockdown happened, for me, it was really, really beneficial because here it is, guys. So we've drawn 2 of these octagons and suddenly the pattern appears, but we'll actually draw it properly. So yeah, this octagon I've just drawn. And now we're going to go over the lines that we just drew, but we're going to leave a gap in the middle so that there's a shape in the middle that is going to be a star. And in the corners, we're going to put those in. So this is what I'm going to draw next. Pause. Be good. Be nice to me, dear computer. So in the middle, let's do the verticals. It's useful to kind of just know where you're going to stop. And it's very nice because it's a nice right angle point. And any lines that were a bit dodgy, I can then slightly correct them now. Okay, so some lines are dodgy, but it's hard to know how to correct them. Let's see how we go. They don't look very parallel. There's all sorts of, I feel like I'm in a forest. Okay. And then we're going to do the same horizontally. And we will then do the same vertically, which I've already done, but diagonally. Okay. Yeah, so when I started Patreon, the first few months I'm perhaps, oh, I've done that in the wrong place. Okay. Obviously, big boo-boo. Let's see how I can disguise it in a second. So yeah, this line is in the wrong place. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to be able to notice it too much in a sec. Uh, let's see how we go. Every time there's a mistake in your work, I would suggest don't linger on it too much. Just kind of carry on and then see what you can do to kind of have a color scheme or a way of kind of slightly disguising it. I'm using this pen hopefully slow enough so it actually makes a mark. Yay. Yeah, so when I started Patreon, um, what was so interesting is it was like finding your feet how to do it. So, I did these videos where we were just kind of looking at stuff and talking, but you know, I know I can talk, but I do need something to do at the same time. So then in January of 21 is when we started doing the tutorials. So then I incorporated one pattern a month to be the same pattern as I teach in my real life workshops. So that little bit of efficiency was really, really cool because then all of a sudden, you've got one thing that you're doing several times. So, my bonding with that pattern was really good. And then I really enjoyed talking about it and concentrating on it for a month. And then, like I would want to paint it and then the paint along happened. But to this day, of the 3 Zooms that I do, the most well attended is always the drawing one. Because, like essentially we're here because we like these patterns. What's happened here? Is that right? Oh yeah, that pen. No, I was thinking that line's wrong. So that's the middle line. That's the line we're after. Oh, it's slightly going to be annoying, but it's okay. There we go. So yeah, the hardcore or the core reason that my Patreon is what it is because of the patterns. Sosen, it would be nice to hear how you do all these activities like Patreon, workshop, Insta, YouTube, like how you are persistent and continue with them. Um, I mean, the thing is, I'm a pretty, what's the word? What's the word for it? What kind of person am I? Persistent. I am persistent. Like you've used the word I am. So I don't give up very easily. And if I can see the potential in something, I will go for it. Does that make sense? Um, we've got 10 minutes now, and I'd like to paint this with my painting kit. But before I do that, so I might go over maybe about a little bit because, we're having good chats. Okay. So if you've got to go, no worries. But I am going to paint a little bit of this. Now, can I just say what mess have I made in the corner? So this is the shape that we're after. But can you see here, it kind of has got a little bit lost. So we just need to make sure that when I paint this, the central star, the colors are going to be a bit darker. Whee! Let's see how much time I get to paint. One thing that's a little bit of an issue when you're traveling is water. So normally I just have a glass of tap water at a cafe or have a little bottle of water or something. Yeah, let's see. It's a bit of a mess. Let's get some water into the colors first. I don't know which ones I'm using. I haven't used that blue a lot, and I haven't used that orange a lot. I don't know. This is the other thing. When you're painting and you're traveling, when you pack up your kit, you need to just mop it all down because it loses 6. So I'm using this. It comes in this lovely thing where it becomes a nice brush. And let's actually use this a bit as well. So I'm just going to wipe it with some cloth. Yeah, so what I find is I I like my temperament is that I will persevere with something. Whereas I see other people, maybe if they don't get success immediately, or like, I don't know, life gets in the way, it's not sustainable. The thing they're doing isn't sustainable. Whereas me, I've made it in such a way that I think it's sustainable. Like I don't do something intensely, um, regularly. Like I never liked weekly courses because I just think that's too much. That sounds so bad, doesn't it? Sounds so bad. Um, yeah. So I like to firstly set up the situation so that it's manageable for me. And then once I've set up the situation so it's manageable for me, I am persistent. Um, Meredith, I got an idea from Insta that if you are sketching somewhere, let's say an over fountain, it's fun to take the water from those features and use that for the watercolors. Oh, that is nice. Do you remember that artist? Is it Cindy something, Cindy Lane? She tested out how different water worked with her paints. She firstly painted whales and stuff, and I still remember to this day she had such a wide range of waters. So she used sea water, so it was salty. She used filtered water. She used like literally all sorts of different types of water, tap water, like bottled water, and the results were really nice. Like there was a difference, and I just didn't imagine there would be because, often I'm just using dirty water. Terrible. But that's a nice thing to use the water from where you are. Um, I actually haven't done properly outdoor painting because I need a table for the geometry maybe. But I normally am in a building or in a cafe at a table sort of thing. And I got such pins and needles when I was doing the cross-legged thing in Paris. I was like, oh my God, my legs. They're getting squishy, squashy. And because I was concentrating on my artwork, I didn't actually I didn't actually notice until it was maybe too late. Look how dodgy that house is. It's okay. It's all part of the live experience. Cafe water, yeah. Definitely I get my drinking water from what is this? The houses are so odd. But I don't want to correct it because then it would make it even more annoying to have double black lines. So I'm just gonna go with it and not worry and do better next time. I think this is on Patreon as well. I have a feeling, I have a sneaky feeling. It's got familiarity. Okay. I might do a little bit more and then I'm going to leave it kind of incomplete. Yes. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to this purpley colour. And there we go. But yeah, what I find really interesting is a lot of what I do, it's sort of like an idea, it's suggested to me or comes to me, and then it develops organically, and it then has that time to evolve and breathe. And I really like that way of doing things because you can kind of refine it and so on, um, and work with it and change it. Like it's not a hard fixed thing until you find that it works. So, for example, the timings of my Zoom sessions, there was a kind of Discord group of geometers, and I think in there somebody said, "Oh, all the times are always convenient for this place and not for my place." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Why don't they just rotate the timings?" And that came from I didn't suggest it. I didn't really chat, but but that idea that we've already come across the problems and we've already solved them, um, it's nice. It is a little bit slightly annoying when people kind of take your fixed model and then just use it to do their thing, and you're like, oh, that took me a while to figure out and develop, and you just kind of, like a ready-made system, they just pick up and duplicate it. That's mildly annoying, depending on the mood I'm in. But yeah, what's happening now, by the way, is I seem to be getting a lot more commissions for interesting projects. Like can I just say 2026 is gearing up to be so exciting, and like, yeah, we're not even there yet. So that's nice. What is this situation in the middle? These should be same size squares. The whole point of all the drama with some of these shapes was to produce the same size squares, but if I'm chatting, the same size squares are not same size squaring. Yeah, so look out for 2026. It's already very nice. I'm doing something that it's almost like a bit of a dream. And I've never done really a wholehearted commitment to, like making a range of products. Um, but I might have a chance to do so next year. But I won't have to do all the hard work. Isn't that what it's all about? Sorry, that's not what it's all about. Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see. You'll have to kind of forgive my vagueness, and hopefully when things happen, you'll be like, "Oh, that's what she was on about." Yes. I mean, yeah. See, I'm trying to figure out. I'm literally thinking out loud what I can say and what I cannot say. But like, like the whole thing of just having an Instagram where your work is visible, that's how I've ended up with, getting certain jobs. So I'll never, like, like, how do like I enjoy it. I don't find it as tedious, and like I have really efficient ways. Like, I think I might give the impression of something, but if you realize how much time I'm doing on other things and certain things, there is effort involved. I'm not denying that, but I just have ways and means to do it a little bit quickly, you know? Okay, I'm going to leave it there because it is 11 o'clock. But actually, I want to do two more squares, these two. Let's do them a bit pinky. So, like having a palette like this, you can make colors in between. So I'm going to just do those as a double, give it some sort of borderness. And all of these colors, they just come from two colors. The purple is the product of the pink being mixed with the blue. So I think I'm going to take some color from there. Meredith, that sounds very exciting. Hopefully, let's see. Oh, what's really fun is as well, like, because I guess maybe before social media, if I wanted to work with somebody, how would I contact them? How would they know? It would be like doorstepping them or sending them a letter. Now I could send them a little message, put in my uh, Instagram and my, links to my social media, and they can see it. But also, to be honest, this sounds awful, but I've never had to propose anything. Just existing online is meant that I get the interesting emails. So who would have thought that? That's wild. And I think when people see so transparently your work, your nature, your temperament, da 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 da, your own working CV, so they can visualize hopefully working with you if you kind of display that. So I do think it's really important to be like an authentic version of yourself online, because, or not like authentic and your true self. This is a query of life. Which one? Real, do you get what I mean? Our real version, there's multiple versions, right? But in terms of your work, I guess. But also influencing people, like you were the first one who introduced me to job. Harry introduced me to Islamic geometry, and I heard from others this too. Yeah, yeah, like that one-to-one connection. And the thing that I really, 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 really love is, like witnessing people find these patterns for the first time, and like being a part of that. And it doesn't matter who or what they are, that kind of moment of, oh, wow, it really kind of is very special. And when I see it in person, when I see it, or when I'm told about it online, because, like, so you've mentioned that, you feel like a big warm fuzziness inside because you're like, yay, I'm just trying to pass on something which is worthy and important to pass on and share. So it's good that people appreciate it. Oh, so nice. It's a very lovely way to earn a living. Very dreamy. And can I just say, I finished another book in these holidays. So, yeah, I am having a good old time keeping it a bit chilled. But I have got next month's pattern sorted. Yesterday, I listened to an audiobook for most of the afternoon, some of the evening, and all the while I was working on next month's pattern. It's just over there. I dare not show you. Am I writing a book? No, no, no. I haven't written a book. I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me just yet. I feel like it is all there potentially in these patterns, but I'm not writing a book. I'm reading books, novels, thrillers, and I'm nearly finished The Vanishing Half. I have finished two of Lisa Jewell's books, so good times. Yeah, like I think the notes I give out, if they were refined and beautified and added to with more text and context, that is definitely a book in there somewhere, but not yet. Okay, I have officially finished. Um, oh my God, Meredith, that's so fun that you said that. An informative and chatty book, like a modern cookbook. When I go to Oslo, the lady I stay with, Lena Larson, she is so encouraging of this idea of a book, and she loves a good cookbook. So we sit there in her in her room with her loads of books in it, and she shows me these cookbooks. And they're like, can you see how they're telling a story and it's got a personal touch and they've got the recipe? You could do that. So yeah, it's a conversation that strangely I have had, but haven't got around to. Not yet. All right. That's a really dodgy part. This is yeah, Lena Larson is amazing. Um, I'm in awe of how much she's achieved and done and how much work she does, like serious work, improving people's lives. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along. I was a little bit like, oh, it's going to be just me. And then you popped in, and so I appreciate that. And yeah, I don't know if I kind of intended to do this particular pattern. I don't think I did, but it's nice to kind of do so and have the kind of the freeness of the chit chat as well. So thank you. I feel like I ought to dramatically put away my stuff back into the suitcase. So I'm going to do that next. And Salson, your conversations were your questions and your things that you asked really I loved. So thank you that you enjoyed it and thank you for asking me about these things. Because honestly, I would love to talk about all of that stuff more, but sometimes it feels like I'm just instigating it myself. Like I want to talk about YouTube, but like nobody's asked. So the fact that somebody's asked, I'm like, yes, yes, I would like to talk about that. Because, like I do get the impression time and time again that we have a sense of what this world is like online. And, you know, the misconceptions, like one of you guys said, is good to kind of uh, give a reality. Um, and also, what I think is really interesting is, once you're doing something in an art world, you have a different reality to what most of social media is doing. So, yeah. Uh, Glad to chat. Whoa, it's such a big baby. Cool. All right. Marie Claudia, thank you so much. Great way to start the day. Selson, no, this was the best. Keep at it. Cute. Do you see what I mean? How encouraging and nice you guys are. So I appreciate you guys. Whatever I end up doing and whatever I do, hello. Um, I always feel encouraged and supported by lovely people like yourselves, generally Patreon, generally Instagram. I don't have any negative things or people once in a while. But yeah, 99% beautiful. All right, I shall leave it there. Once I met somebody from, Emerald Events is a kind of a networking events aimed at young Muslims in London, and it's been going for maybe 20, 30 years, 20 years. And the guy who runs it, his name's Rufal Ali. And we once said to him, I bet you've got stories to tell. You know, like how people interact with you and what they're expecting of you, the wildness of it, the rudeness, the audacity. And he told some stories, and I was like, oh my God, they're so interesting. I'd love to delve deep because I don't think I have that many. Maybe I do, but they're really niche. But yeah, it was so fascinating. So the juicy gossip of like what it is to do these things online. But yeah, Meredith, thank you. It is so much fun to join you at your lesson. Yay, I'm glad, I'm glad. And hopefully I shall see some of you next time on whichever Zoom. But yeah, really appreciate you guys being here. Take care. Have a lovely, it's the beginning of the weekend. It's a long weekend in the UK. Woo. Have a lovely one. Take care, everybody. Bye.